Yep, we're clear. Go.
Welcome to a very disappointing live post-game show, Game 64. 64 games, E-Man. The Kings did not win tonight. It was a tough one.
It was.
A lot of people say, well, they shouldn't have won the game. That doesn't excuse you not winning the game when you had the ability to win the game. Same with the OKC game. Well, technically, we shouldn't have won the game without Fox. But you were up 17 at one point where you could have won the game. So all these excuses, we know who those people are. Not going to say any name. Grant Napier. Oh, I slipped out of my... Oh, man, Grant Napier. Oh, I'm just saying, man, there just needs to be more accountability when they do lose. Because when they win, praises to Luke Walton and Vlade Divac. But when they lose, it's on the players, and I think that's a little bit unfair. Your thoughts on that?
I think it just depends on what side you're on. Guys like Grant won't defend if they lose or win. Sometimes they defend, sometimes they don't. And then Leo, you'll chew them out when they lose, but when they win, sometimes you don't chew them out as much and you don't praise them as much. So I think it just depends on what perspective you're on. If you're working for them,
yeah,
obviously you're gonna cover for them. If you're not, you're gonna keep it more real. And that's what Leo's been doing.
So 118-113 in that fourth quarter. The biggest thing that stood out to me was a well-executed play ran for a future superstar in Siakam. I just think this guy...
Not even the future. This guy's the truth.
I would say...
let me tell you, bro. Can I just say something? I was in the corner watching Marc Gasol. He's like, you got to do it. It's like, it's you. You got to take over. Because Kyle Lowry was going head-to-head with Fox.
He had 5 fouls at the 10:40 mark of the fourth.
Kyle Lowry?
Yeah.
Okay, well... Marc Gasol went up to him. He's like, "You got to do it. You got to take over." Siakam just said, "Give me all the pressure, man, and I'm gonna shine, dude." And Siakam shined. He was fantastic tonight. He answered every single call.
If he's not a superstar, as I said, he will be a superstar in the near future. He's extremely
he's legit
talented, like without question. Does he remind you a little bit of KD, Giannis, like
or Giannis? Because he can't shoot like KD, but he has a better shooting form than Giannis.
Oh, for sure. He's a better shooter now.
Facts.
He's a better shooter now.
He's just not as strong as Giannis.
Okay, so quick mention to our sponsors. Valley Tire Center. ACFest is March 26th. It's a Thursday. Make sure you show up. They're going to give out 2 sets of different tickets. They're giving out a bunch of free food. As you know, they have Sandra G's every single year for a great annual event for the people of Woodland, the people that support Valley Tire Center. And I know a lot of you guys do it because of us and our platform and how we highlight them. So shout out to them. Also, huge shout out to Climate Society Folsom. It was a great grand opening Saturday morning. They're officially open, y'all, so take advantage of the cryotherapy chamber. He's done it, I've done it. We feel a lot better after we do it. It's a great thing to have inside a fitness studio because, you always want to recover, but they also have great classes and great instructors. Shout out to them. I really want to hammer down on a great play by Nick Nurse, who I love. Right? I think he's a great X and O's guy. I'm fascinated by this defense, man. Like, as soon as the game started, I was like, oh my gosh, these guys recover and they're so quick. They're just such great athletes, but it's better than athleticism. They have it here, and our guys don't. Like, these guys' IQ on defense is out of this world. I haven't seen this type of defense in a long time. Right. But the play that I'm talking about is you put Siakam with the ball, right? You literally you can inbound the ball at the Golden One Center logo, right behind me. Kyle Lowry sets a high hammer screen, which you and me do a lot in pickup games because it gives me an opportunity to either go downhill or kick out to a guy. My thing is, why would you run that for a great player like Siakam, but not for a great player like De'Aaron Fox, who's a great player in the sense of going downhill and using the speed to the advantage? My thing is, if you're Luke Walton, right, and you just see that it works, you're not going to want to drop a play where you put Bogey in the position of Kyle Lowry, sets a high pick, which I spoke to Bogey after the game. He said, I agree 1,000% with you. I thought it was too flooded with people, right? There was no floor balance, no spacing. It was too congested. That was the word I was looking for.
Yep.
So they don't do that. They set a great hammer screen for Siakam. He goes downhill, and what happens? He does what he does great, which he finished. He's a world-class finisher. That's fine. But he also had the chance to kick out to the corner because Rashawn Holmes He said
He had to.
I
He was
mean,
forced to help.
he was forced to help, but he couldn't jump because Bazemore got in his way of him jumping. But the point is, you got the switch on Bazemore. Like, that's what you wanted. That shot would have been super difficult if Harrison Barnes was on you, which is why this is why they set it for him, which is the right thing to do. So the following possession, we see Bogey literally right here set. It was a bad screen, but nonetheless, it was too congested for it to even work. Then Rashawn Holmes sets the screen for Bogey to flare out to right here, which is right here, right? And Fox was supposed to kick it out to him, but Fox already had made his mind up to make that three because he was hot in the quarter. I mean, he had like, what, 15 points in the fourth quarter? So
I wasn't mad at Fox taking that shot.
I wasn't mad at Fox. I was mad at the execution of the play, though. I felt like he had more opportunities. Again, coaching is what? Putting your guys in the best situations to succeed, right? It's to get your guys better shots, better opportunities, and I just felt like Luke could have drawn something better, literally the exact same play for Fox, which would have given them more options. Because the following play, what happens? Slips it to Rashawn Holmes and one. So that, and you pointed this out, he was wide open on that Bielitsa shot where he could have just slipped. But again, the time was, they were down by 3 and they needed a 3. It was tough. And I'm more outraged at the play that Luke drew up than Buddy not playing the entire fourth. With that said, Buddy should have gotten in down 3 because the Raptors would have stayed home. And the idea here is to what? Is to give Fox as much space as possible. And Buddy would do that because Buddy is, right now, well, not anymore because Steph's back, but top 3 shooter in the world. NBA 3-point champion.
Yeah.
You have to put him out there. Why do you think he didn't put him out there?
Well, he said he was rolling with his hot guys.
Right.
But what I don't get is he put Corey Joseph in for defensive purposes, right? Bazemore backhand, took out Bielitsa. My thing is, why don't you do that on offense? When you got your specialties on offense, you got to put your best offensive players, offensive weapon in Buddy Hield, Bogey, Belly on the floor when you need a 3. And it didn't happen. And disappointing, right, Rich?
Shout out to Rich, man. No, that's a fascinating. That's just a great point. You put your specialty players out there. He did not do that. You could tell Buddy was very disgruntled on the bench. He wasn't even clapping at that point. He was really upset. Again, he's a guy that shows his emotions, right? He wears his emotions on his sleeve. He's that type of guy. We've been to the Bahamas. We know how he is. He's not scared to speak his mind. And after the game today, he wasn't going to talk. I'm glad he didn't because he would have had something silly. So shout out to him for restraining himself from not saying something to the media. Because then, as you say, juicy quotes, that was coming for sure. I'm glad he didn't say anything. I did talk. I was the only one that actually spoke to him for a little bit. And obviously off the record, he's not happy. He's definitely not happy. Again, I spoke to Belly. I spoke to Bogey off the record. I asked Belly about that last shot. He was a little bit off balance. He said it was a bad shot, that he should have got a better shot. But again, the Raptors literally switch everything, and they just make life so difficult on you. What did you think about Bogey's game in the second half? Because he, had a tough start to that game. And do you make a switch in the starting lineup? Do you go back to Buddy? Because they've had, tough starts here at home. Literally every single game.
They start off slow.
Besides this Blazer game last night, like they start slow every single time. Do you make a change right now? Do you put Holmes and Buddy back in the lineup? I mean, Holmes. I think Holmes. Yeah, you for sure got to put Holmes back in there.
I would switch it up entirely. I would have Bogdanovic as my backup point guard. I wouldn't play Corey. Like, there's this thing about Corey Joseph being, he wears guys out, and I didn't see any defense. Like, the Raptors wanted to score whenever they wanted to. They got buckets.
I say that all the time.
If that's the point, man, I'm like, put my best offense out there to counter. Let's do a shootout. You know what I mean? Because the Kings weren't getting stops. They got a point every single time. All their players were on today. And at that point, it's like, man, I got to fight fire on fire. Like, this defense thing isn't working.
Coach E, man, let me hire you right now, bro. I mean, you can't say it in more lamer terms. Like, that's as lame as it'll get. Simple, right? If you're not getting stops and you're out there to get stops, which again, I literally had a whole fourth quarter conversation with Jerry Reynolds. I was in there editing, right? He goes in there, he sees me, he starts. You know how he starts shouting. I'm like, I can't get my stuff done.
OG.
All right, so and what do we say? He says, Buddy should be playing 30 minutes at the bare minimum. And then I said, look, Buddy's not mad about coming off the bench. He's mad about having a bench role minutes. Like he played 23 minutes tonight. He didn't play in the fourth quarter. Like this guy, as Jerry and most people say, he has the biggest cojones on the team. Like this guy wants to take shots. He works for those moments, and he's the only guy on this team that is capable of making those type of big shots. Like he wants that moment. He works for that moment.
I like Fox for that position.
Yeah, man. But who would you rather take that last shot though, Fox or Buddy?
Tonight, Fox was hot.
Buddy was too in the first half though. Shout out to Alex, man.
You guys.
All right, Alex.
Yeah, I am okay with Fox being the closer as well, but as of today to 2020, March 8th, I want that shot to go to Buddy Hield. And my second option would be Bogdanovic, believe it or not. We've seen it countless times with Bogey having big cojones as well. I just feel like I would prefer them to go back to Buddy, even though I would start Buddy and Bogey. But that's my personal thing. Like, and I don't think look after win last night. They did. They took care of business. Tonight was like you should win, but
For playing on a back-to-back, bro, they played really well. Like against the champs.
This is a great team. It's a great team.
Like it was fascinating. Like the Kings' performance today would have beat a lot of teams. The Raptors are just that good. Like they're a special team defensively, offensively. They're sound. It's a great team.
I
man.
think they're the best fan team in the NBA.
That was one of the better losses of the season for sure.
People say, when is Marvin coming back, E-Man? Do you think he'll come back?
I don't bother asking. The rotations are fine, man. Like I told you in the beginning of the game, I didn't want Harry starting only because we have massive Marc Gasol playing tonight.
He came off the bench though.
He's a problem. He did.
Yeah.
I just didn't want him at the same time. Alex Len was the better way to go today.
Martin, the QB says, fire Luke Walton. It's time you have Buddy buckets. Come on now. Thoughts on Buddy being on the bench for at least a couple seconds? Answer that. It was a mistake. There's a lot of Buddy on here, man. Do you think Buddy should have been in the option for the last 3 minutes or last 3 seconds? Yeah, right.
Yes.
Tell me why Luke didn't put Buddy in your opinion. Where does Buddy need to be picked then? Do you think Len should have played in the fourth? I don't. I'm glad Rashawn was playing in those minutes. Because Len had a really good game. Right?
It's just that third quarter, I feel like that's where it fell apart. It's like you were there, but then they got like a 7-point lead, then you cut it down, and then back to 9. And that's when it was Corey, Buddy, Len, and 2 other guys. I think Bazemore was in there too. But I just don't like Corey out there. I want Bogey, Buddy, and Len, and whoever else. I just don't want Corey being back. He's just like he just wasted so much time just pounding the ball, dribble.
With his what? With his head down. I Rashawn's PR guy, and he heard me kind of yell I'm like, put your head up! I literally he just came out at me. I'm like, he's pounding the ball with his head down. He's not even looking at the floor, looking to see who's open. That's fine. Like guys who over dribble, like the Chris Pauls of the world, they can do it, but their head is always up. They're always looking for a guy. His guy puts his head down, and at some point it gets irritating. And like you said, if he's not doing his job, man, you just can't be out there. I'm sorry, and I know Luke loves him. Like Luke loves him, man. He's a good player, but
it's just
in the playoffs, say hypothetically, someone just asked playoffs. If they made the playoffs, I would prefer to play Bogey at that secondary play, backup.
Yeah.
Because you have to shorten your
rotations.
Like you can't play 10 guys in the playoffs.
No.
I mean, and if you do, you're gonna lose. I mean, you're gonna lose regardless, but unless we get some, De'Aaron Fox going Super Saiyan and Buddy going Super Saiyan. But Any final thoughts before we
Yeah,
end this?
yeah. I just want to say at the beginning of the season, I said I wasn't convinced by Fox. Like, oh, you got to
Okay.
pay the guy.
Okay.
You're gonna have to pay the guy only
Yeah.
because it's you have to. But I felt like he didn't deserve it coming into the season.
Mhm.
Just like how I feel the same way about Bagley. De'Aaron Fox over the last month has changed my mind completely. Like, this guy is the truth. This guy deserves every dime that's gonna come his way. My hat's off to him. Win or loss, this guy's your point guard for the long, long run. That's what I
Can't say any better. We don't end it on that, man. That's a great way to end it. De'Aaron Fox is the truth. Jerry and I actually, one last thing. We still said, both him and I agreed, that De'Aaron Fox and Luka Doncic would have been amazing together. Like Jerry Reynolds,
In
okay?
an alternate universe, bro.
Not me.
Yeah.
Jerry Reynolds, the GOAT, he says they'd be a 50-plus team today.
It always leads back to this, bro.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Every post-game show. It always comes back.
That's crazy, man. Hey, man, thank you guys so much. Shout out to Valley Tire Center. Make sure you go to ActFest, man. Boom, boom, boom. End it. Right there, finish. Right there. Do it again.